Okay, busy parent. Let's dive right into this mountain of kids' dental health info you've put together. Articles, tips, shopping lists, you name it.
Looks like someone's taking this seriously. I love it.
You know it. And we're here to help unearth those hidden gems. Make you the, what do you call it, the tooth wisdom champ of the house.
Tooth wisdom champ. I love that. That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
Giving parents the best info possible. And you've got some good stuff here.
You bet. So one thing that jumped out from, let's see, pasted text was this whole thing about starting early. You even flagged it.
Right.
Is it really that big of a deal? Brushing before those baby teeth even come in?
Absolutely. I mean, think of it this way. Those baby gums.
Right.
That's the foundation. If you're neglecting them, you're basically setting the stage for problems down the line. Plus, getting your little one used to a routine right away from day one, genius. Pure genius.
It's like you're instilling good habits from the get-go.
Exactly.
And this pasted text thing, it totally called out that myth about baby teeth not mattering.
Oh, yeah.
Said it can have huge implications on their adult teeth down the line.
Huge is an understatement. They're not just there to look cute. Those baby teeth, they actually guide the adult teeth in. Neglect them. You're talking crowding, bite problems.
Oh, no.
Braces, expensive orthodontist visits, the whole 9 yards.
And nobody wants that.
Nobody. But here's something I didn't even realize. Pasted text linked those early teeth to speech development.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. See, I'm learning something new already. So you've convinced me. Early care is key why. But then pasted text throws this curveball, says kids don't really master brushing on their own till like 8 years old.
Yeah,
That's a long time of like parental supervision.
it is.
Any advice for surviving those in-between years?
Patience, my friend. And a little creativity. Look, it's a partnership, not a chore. You're there to guide them, make sure they're reaching those back molars, maybe inject some fun into it, you know?
Yeah, totally. Who doesn't love a good toothbrushing party?
Right, exactly.
Speaking of fun, pasted text had some interesting tips about making it, more enjoyable. Letting kids pick out their own toothbrush, coming up with silly songs, stuff like that.
Well, it makes all the difference. Pasted text actually gets into the psychology of it all.
Yeah.
When kids feel involved, it's less of a power struggle.
Makes sense.
Empowerment.
Empowering them to take charge of their dental destiny. I love that. Empowering is right, especially when we're talking dun-dun-dun sugar.
The ultimate tooth villain.
Right. And one thing that surprised me in pasted text was how, I don't know how specific it got about all the different types of sugar.
Oh, yeah.
Like I kind of always assumed, candy's the worst.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's not that simple, is it?
Not at all. You would be shocked. Some of the sugar bombs lurking in your pantry, pasted text actually ranked them, which I found fascinating.
Okay, so spill the tea. What takes the top spot on the naughty list?
This one surprised me. It's those sticky, gummy candies.
Really?
They cling to those little teeth, and they just sit there, giving those cavity-causing bacteria a real feast.
Yeah, it's true. It's like they get stuck in all those little grooves,
Yeah. Exactly. Close second. Sugary drinks,
Juice boxes.
juice boxes, sports drinks, even those flavored waters, that seem so innocent.
Right.
It's not even just about how much sugar, but how long it sits on those teeth.
So we're talking about like sipping a juice box all afternoon versus having a piece of candy and it's done.
Exactly. And that ties into what we were talking about with milk at bedtime.
Right, which that really surprised me. I thought milk was supposed to be good for your teeth.
Calcium's our friend.
Right.
But Tasted Text pointed out the lactose in milk, still a sugar.
Oh.
And when it just sits on those teeth all night without a good brushing, not ideal.
No, makes sense. So what's a parent to do? Can't exactly send your kid to bed thirsty.
Of course not. But Pasted Text had some really practical tips, like if they're going to have milk, do it earlier in the evening, not right before bed.
Okay.
And always encourage water throughout the day.
Water, the ultimate thirst quencher, tooth saver.
Exactly.
But I know parents are probably wondering about juice too. What's the verdict there?
Dilution is your friend.
Okay.
Pasted Text actually recommended a 1.4 ratio for young children, juice to water.
So turning that juice box into a special treat rather than an everyday thing.
Precisely. And this is a good example of why those regular dentist visits, so important.
Because every kid's different. Every family's different.
Every situation.
And having that expert guidance can make such a big difference.
Absolutely. It's about finding what works for you and getting those personalized recommendations.
Right.
Speaking of, remember those Amazon shopping lists?
Oh, yes. Those. I mean, they're super helpful, but also kind of overwhelming.
Tell me about it. So many options. But Pasted Text did a great job breaking it down. By age, did you notice they really emphasize fluoride?
I did. Fluoride, it's like the superhero of the dental world or something. It's like giving those little teeth their own personal
Well,
shield.
yep, exactly.
But pasted text didn't stop at just like what to use.
Right.
It got into like the science of it
The
all.
why behind it.
Yes. And I gotta say, I learned a thing or two about fluoride.
Oh, it's fascinating stuff.
It is. For example, did you know that fluoride actually like integrates into the tooth enamel?
It does.
Makes it more resistant to those acid attacks.
It's like reinforcing your defenses from the inside out.
Wow. So it's not just about like neutralizing the acid, it's about strengthening the tooth itself.
Exactly.
Incredible.
And Pasted Text goes into all these different types of fluoride, which I thought was interesting.
Oh, yeah. It mentioned something about like sodium fluoride being in most toothpaste.
Right, the most common type.
But then there's this stannous fluoride,
Stannous fluoride.
which apparently has like extra benefits.
Yeah, Pasted Text was saying that stannous fluoride not only strengthens the enamel, but it also has, get this, antimicrobial properties.
So it's like a double whammy.
Exactly. Helps control the bacteria that cause cavities in the first place.
Okay, so that's something to look out for, especially if you've got a little one who's, prone to cavities.
It's definitely worth discussing with your dentist. They can kind of guide you towards the best type of fluoride for your child's needs.
Makes sense. Personalized approach. Love it. Okay, so we've covered the basics, the sugar, the fluoride, but there was this whole other section in pasted text about, like, when teeth erupt.
Right. Yeah.
Should parents be worried if their kid's timing is a little off?
It's more of a guideline than a rule book.
Okay.
Every child develops at their own pace, you know that. But Pasted Text did mention if those baby teeth are super delayed, might be worth checking in with your dentist. Could be a sign of other things going on.
So it's more about, like, being aware of the potential red flags
Exactly.
than, like, freaking out if your kid's a little off schedule.
Exactly. Don't compare your child's mouth to, a chart.
Right. Speaking of red flags, though, pasted text had this whole thing about how genetics plays a role in cavity risk,
Oh, yeah. Big time.
which is something I never really thought about. But it's true. You see those families where, like, everyone's got great teeth.
right.
And then others, it's like, no matter what they do.
It's an uphill battle, and it's not just about how much sugar they're eating. Some people are just genetically predisposed to having weaker enamel.
Yeah.
Makes them more susceptible to cavities.
So even with the best brushing, the best flossing, genetics can still kind of throw a wrench in the works?
It's a factor. It's a
Yeah.
factor, which is why, again, those early dentist visits are so key. Identifying those risk factors early on.
Right. Getting that personalized plan.
Exactly.
It's like having a dental crystal ball.
Yeah.
Okay, last thing from pasted text, sealants and fluoride treatments.
Yes.
Is that really necessary if you're, like, already doing all the right things at home?
Here's how I like to think about it. You wouldn't skip out on, your car's regular maintenance just because you're a careful driver.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sealants and fluoride treatments, they're like that extra layer of protection,
Yeah.
especially on those back molars,
Oh.
Tough to reach.
It's like giving those little chompers the best fighting chance.
Exactly.
Okay, wow. We covered a ton of ground today,
We did.
from those very first baby teeth to the power of fluoride, the whole 9 yards.
Mm.
Any final words of wisdom for our listener as they navigate this whole dental journey with their little one?
First of all, kudos to them for being here, right? Soaking all this up. Knowledge is power. And trust your instincts. You know your child best. Don't be afraid to lean on those experts, your dentist, your pediatrician. And remember, every little step towards healthy habits, it counts. Even if it feels small, it matters.
Love that. Small steps, big impact. And for our amazing listener out there, I know we focused a lot on, like, the practical side of things today, but remember that emotional aspect is huge too. How can we make dental care a positive experience for our kids?
Yeah.
Not something they dread. That's something to think about as you're, implementing all these great tips. Until next time, happy brushing, everyone.